Storm system that moved through central Alabama over the weekend and the damage it left behind.
And we take you across the country where cleanup is also happening after a weekend of severe storms.
Plus, we're talking about the early taste of fall we'll be seeing this week as drier air moves in.
Live on your side. First Alert Weather Extra starts right now.
And we are so glad you are with us here for Weather Extra, but check out this video. This is from Hillsboro, Alabama over the weekend where a thunderstorm sent a bounce house flying through the sky across areas where a lot of folks were gathering there. There was a big event happening. Tents were also blown down. Fortunately, there was no one in the inflatable and only minor scrapes were reported as those tents fell and folks there were seeking shelter. Tania joining us right now again for First Alert Weather Extra. And Tania, that's one video of many scenes that we saw over the weekend.
Oh my goodness. Listen, I was in Oxford over the weekend and that storm, it was a severe storm. It was bad. It was really bad. So it definitely picked up across many areas this past weekend for sure.
Actually had a cold front that moved in. I know it's hard to believe because it's still warm out there.
Warm.
Always this time of the year like to say cool front, but when you have a change like that and with this northwest flow, you get these strong storms, and that's why we declared First Alert Weather Days. Let's go ahead and show you right now what's happening at Young Jewelers, one of our First Alert Sky Vision views where it's 77 degrees. How about that? And winds out of the north at 8, so you throw that into the mix. It feels nice out there. That almost, you know, it's got that little taste of September in the air, maybe like early September out there for tonight. But that northerly breeze is really going to help us out. If you want to hold off here just a little while longer, get that walk in around the neighborhood after supper time, you can see those temperatures in the 80s with that north breeze. It is going to feel nice for this evening and the sky clearing out. Low temperatures for tonight tumbling into the 60s. And how about it there? Talladega at 63, Pell City, Anniston around 64 tomorrow morning. Certainly going to give that AC a break out there in a lot of areas. Around Tuscaloosa at 68, Greensboro 67 to the north. A lot of low 60s. Places are over Straight Mountain. You get in towards Susan Moore, Sneed, and Nectar. Nice weather conditions also around Hayden. The temperatures right now, though, we're just going to do the opposite just to show you. We got to get there first, right? So we still see some 90s in place across the area. So there is a light at the end of the tunnel. We will see a nice improvement and sky clearing out. Again, very dry air settling in across the southeast. All that stormy weather now down across the Gulf of Mexico, and it will stay there. So what's next for us? Well, here's our First Alert weather headlines. Next big thing, we still hang on to this north breeze over the next couple days. That's really going to help out in the shady areas. Enjoy some cooler conditions during the mornings and then staying very dry. Not much rain until we get until around Thursday, perhaps. There could be a shower, and we're going to have some hotter weather coming back for this weekend. So that's what we're going to be tracking here down the road. As we continue to talk about the storms, though, that left storm damage across central Alabama, let's take a look at some of the photos submitted by you over the weekend. Check out this. We always, for some, we call it the state bird, but a trampoline on a house. This was from Sandy Lou and Foster's in Tuscaloosa County, and that was from the storm yesterday. That's what's left of a barn from Mark Moore. That was on Saturday in Munford. He had his pole barn there and said that, just collapsed with all those gusty winds and some small hail. And there was some indications of some quarter-size hail, but that was from Andre Roper and Pinson. And Jessica Jefferson showing wind damage that was also left behind after those storms that moved through Cleburne County there in the Heflin area. But schools in Hale County also delaying this morning as crews continued cleaning up from storm damage debris such as fallen trees and power lines over the weekend. This was after yesterday's storm. Your West Alabama reporter Brian Henry joins us for the story right now. Brian, how's it looking today and the day after those storms moved through Hale County?
Well, West Hale County EMA Director Russ Whedon said it well earlier today. It is a huge mess right now in Hale County, and it's one they're still dealing with 24 hours later.
And then King Hill.
Caught by surprise, Hale County EMA Director Russ Whedon knew there was a possibility of high winds, but did not expect this. Although no tornado and maybe not even straight line winds, but widespread damage nonetheless.
Yeah, we had several trees across Highway 14, and Highway 69 was blocked at one time, and so just really most every road in the county was blocked at some point.
Blocked to the point Hale County educators delayed the start of school Monday morning by 2 hours.
We weren't sure that we had every tree every road was passable, so we didn't want those school buses on the road at night with it being dark and they couldn't see a tree down or wasn't there. So safety let us delay schools this morning.
Russ Whedon estimated the storm knocked down hundreds of trees over the 9 fire districts.
Yeah, so a lot of trees are down. Several trees fell on homes, destroying several of those homes. We had 2 vehicles that were destroyed with trees falling on them, but no injuries.
And no deaths, the best possible outcome for an otherwise busy Sunday for first responders. At one point, around 1,000 people had no power over the weekend. However, all of them should have their power restored by tomorrow morning, according to Russ Whedon. Your reporter in West Alabama, Brian Henry, WBRC 6 News, on your side.
All right, Brian, and I was in Tuscaloosa, South Tuscaloosa County yesterday. We had some of those strong winds and those storms certainly over the weekend packing a punch. And you can see these are all storm reports just from yesterday. And another area we mentioned around Foster's there in Tuscaloosa County. This was in Romulus. Thunderstorm wind damage that was reported. Several trees that were blown down around that community in addition to Foster's. And also a report there of large hail, quarter size in the Foster's area. Woodstock also not far from there. Looks like around Vance we had a hail report, and then if we back this view out, you can see north of Birmingham around Warrior. That was actually in the Kimberly area. Tree blown down on Haygood Road. A lot of trees down across the area. Saw some impressive video as well from Lake Martin, but just checking in on some of those storm reports. Looks like Talladega there, thunderstorm wind gusts measured at 52 miles per hour. You see that, Tania? One of those reports coming in from Talladega County, 52 mile per hour wind. That is going to topple a tree. You see those winds like that here in Alabama, but much calmer conditions for this evening. Still a little breezy out there, but no storms expected. We'll check out the rain chances for the rest of the week coming up in First Alert Weather.
And taking you across the country now to the northeast, where severe storms brought catastrophic flooding from Virginia all the way to New York. Connecticut seeing the most rainfall it's had in decades, with the mayor of Danbury issuing a state of emergency after 6 to 12 inches of rain fell. As of this morning, about 15 roads were impassable as a result of them being either flooded or washed out. And New York City and places across New Jersey also being hit with flash flooding. And in Virginia, a man was killed after those strong storms. There were 2 fatalities in Connecticut. And those storms are continuing to be expected through the beginning of this work week as a cold front continues to push through the region. Take a look behind me at some of those states across the northeast at just how much rainfall fell in some of those areas. Look at this, just north of Brookhaven, 10.6 inches of rainfall in parts of Connecticut and definitely closer to the coastline. Over 3 inches, 3.9 inches there, 2.8 near South Hold. That's in parts of Connecticut. It's just been lots of heavy rainfall impacting that area. Look over towards Newport, around 3.1 inches of rainfall. So a lot of heavy rain really impacting those areas. And we'll continue to give you updates throughout the week as they continue to improve any damages that have occurred from any of those storms that moved through over the weekend. But taking you around the world now to different parts of Italy, where at least 1 person is dead after a luxury yacht sank off the coast of Sicily. The Italian Coast Guard saying a tornado hit the vessel earlier this morning. 15 people were rescued from the scene and 6 people remain missing. Europe can see up to 400 tornadoes a year, with the peak season being in July. And parts of eastern Canada are dealing with major flooding and power outages. Up to 7 inches of rain fell in some places on Saturday, with Toronto being the hardest hit area. There were also reports of a tornado touching down in North Dumfries Township. The storm knocked down trees and left a lot of damage to homes and businesses in the area. But so far, no reports of any serious injuries.
Well, in 30 seconds, we take a look beyond the atmosphere as we prepare for tonight's super blue moon and take a quick check on your forecast. Stay tuned for more First Alert Weather Extra. All right, welcome back into Weather Extra. I want to give you an update on what's happening in the tropics. And we were talking about Hurricane Ernesto. That system is staying out over the Atlantic, and now it's moving into the northern Atlantic. Look at where this thing is, and you can see, actually, if I back the view out, you can see the track, and it's made this big loop. We see that often out here over the Atlantic as it moved to the north. And what will happen through tomorrow as it moves over the cooler waters of the North Atlantic, it becomes what's called post-tropical, and it starts to lose its tropical characteristics and become more of a mid-latitude type system here as we put this into motion. I want to show you the forecast track, and it's kind of interesting. You can see by Wednesday, here's London over here. Looks like it is going to cross, and it won't be too far there from moving nearing Europe there. It looks like maybe around Wednesday or Thursday, but by then it will be, again, more of a post-tropical system there as it continues to the north. But that's the only system that we are watching right now. Over the Gulf of Mexico, some of that stormy weather has settled in. You can see there are some cooler cloud tops down in here, and this is an area I was telling you about last week. We'll kind of watch it here next couple days to see if this is kind of a focal point for maybe an area need to keep an eye on for development, but not seeing anything right now. If you have a trip planned right now, that dry air really taking over all across the state of Alabama. It's going to be a great night for viewing the full moon. Tania?
Oh yes, Wes, you are exactly right. A beautiful night to look up at the sky. And guess what you're going to see? Well, Wes already told you. The super blue moon. It's the August full moon, moonrise at 7:47 p.m. You have just about an hour to go catch it. It's also known as the sturgeon moon, and that means fish caught in abundance. So pretty cool there, but I have even cooler things to tell you about it. Here are a look at some of those fun facts, because why not get a little bit more science and a little extra here on Weather Extra, right? Fun fact number one, 25% of full moons are super moons, meaning that extra large view of it, right? Fun fact number two, only 3% of full moons are blue moons. And fun fact number three, NASA says the next super blue moon isn't until January 2037. So don't miss it. Look up high in the sky, 7:47 p.m. Send in those photos so that we can share them later on tonight, first at 9 and again at 10. I'd love to share them. So please step outside, bring your kids, look at the sky, take a picture, and send it in to the WBRC First Alert Weather app. And as we continue to talk about the science behind blue moons, meteorologist Lauren Linehan is joined again by Dr. Jonas Kahn as he talks about the history of the blue moon.
Just to stress to people, you look at the moon, it's not necessarily going to be blue, right?
Yeah, it will not be blue.
But it sounds like it's going to be pretty beautiful all on its own. What would be the best time to look at the moon? Because I know sometimes the moon sets and you can't see it. I know obviously weather permitting too, but typically when would you suggest people have the best views?
Yeah, so I think that's a very good question. I think the blue moon, it will start in the afternoon, Monday. But of course, it will be more visible and it will be more beautiful if you look at it like after the sunset, and especially as the night goes on. So anything these days around like 10 p.m. or so, I think it will look the best. And I would also like to add that even the next 2 days after Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday, it will also be as big because it will not become smaller significantly. So if for some reasons, if we miss it on Monday due to the weather, if somebody is not able to see it on Monday, they can try it on Tuesday and Wednesday as well.
Is there anything else you'd like to add, Dr. Kahn, about this celestial event?
Yeah, so I think there is a distinction between the seasonal and the calendar month blue moon. So people define the blue moon in different ways. So I already gave you like one of the textbook definition of a blue moon, that if within a given season we have 4 full moons, then the third one is called a blue moon. And this August full moon is the blue moon because it's the third one after June and July. But in some cases, blue moon can also refer to if we have 2 full moons within a given calendar month. So for example, if we have 1 full moon on the 1st of August, and we all know that the moon completes one of its cycle in 29 point something days, so it is possible that within a given calendar month, at the end of the month, we can have another blue moon. So this one is called the seasonal blue moon. And like in history, because I'm somewhat interested in looking at the history of events as well and how the ancient people used to interpret these kind of events. So ancient people like the Mayan civilization and the Aztec civilization, they would kind of celebrate these kind of events with passion, and they would think that the blue moon can bring like good luck and bad luck with it. So especially the Mayan people, they would take like a bath under the full blue moon, and that was one of their rituals to please their gods and everything. So it's like an exciting event that is just around the corner.
Well, still ahead on First Alert Weather Extra, we talk about the cooler temperatures for the week, and we take you to Tuscaloosa, where a new water facility is going to help with future research. Stay tuned. You're watching First Alert Weather Extra.
All right, it's time for First Alert Weather, and across the state, we've got dry air moving in, a nice little taste of fall on the way for the overnight hours. Now, I'm not talking late October kind of weather here, but certainly you'll enjoy some low 60s early tomorrow morning. A little hint, as you can see the atmosphere really drying out. This is a look at the water vapor image, and what we're doing is we're looking at moisture levels in the mid-level of the atmosphere. So it's telling us that we're really drying out at all layers there, and that's going to allow that sky to clear out tonight. Those temperatures will take the tumble down into the 60s early tomorrow morning, and we're going to have a nice northerly breeze out there tonight, which is also going to help with those comfort levels. Here's the muggy muggy meter, and this is showing those dew points really dropping off. All that sticky, humid air, that's where you see the green on the map, and you can see that is now pushing south. Just right along the coast is where it still feels like the tropics, and around here locally it's feeling drier, more crisp, and with this breeze in place and with some of us already dealing with those drought conditions, certainly getting extra crispy out there next couple days in those dry locations. Notice all this moisture back to the east as we move into Thursday and Friday. Notice how that builds back in from the east direction. There is a disturbance down in here we'll be watching. May actually squeeze out a couple of showers around Thursday and Friday. That's why we actually put a small 20% chance of a shower in the forecast. Global models not showing a lot. It shows that north flow really dominating the weather scene here over the next few days, but until Thursday, Friday, you see more of an easterly flow there, perhaps a couple of isolated showers. If you look at the timing right there, it's showing Thursday at 8 o'clock. So there might be an isolated shower to the south. This shows mainly south of Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, Anniston, perhaps around places like Clanton, and those locations there might see a little bit of rain, but that's all we can find there as far as any good chance of rain here over the next couple days. We're looking at some very, very dry conditions. Of course, Friday coming up, well, we have Sideline happening, and looks like a nice evening to kick it off here on WBRC. That kickoff temperature around 82 degrees, and by the end of the game, still seeing some 70s out there at night, but we still have, it's summertime. You know, we'll have the August heat, at least during the afternoon hours, but we will stay dry for this weekend. And again, just taking a look at some of those lows, Wednesday morning, that is going to be the cooler start. How about all these 50s? Check it out, showing 59 at Jasper, Tuscaloosa 64, Birmingham 62, but you go just north of those areas, even north of Pell City, well, there's a chance that we are going to see some 50s even closer to the I-20 corridor in those outlying locations there as we move into the mid part of the week. But we're not seeing a lot of wet weather in that extended forecast. As you can see there for Thursday and Friday, only a 20% chance for showers, isolated. Might be a stray shower for this weekend, but right now we'll check in with meteorologist Tania Michelle. And Tania, as we look ahead beyond the 7-day forecast, you're telling us that we might have some higher rain chances next week.
Oh yeah, Wes, we need to watch it. I have some days highlighted here as I take you beyond the 7-day. Wes just went through the 7-day forecast, but a little further out, we could have some returning rain and storm chances as we approach not this weekend, but the following weekend. Temperatures are still going to be pretty warm. They're above average. Notice our average at this time of the year is in the 80s, but we'll still be seeing those temperatures in the 90s as we close out the month of August. But keep in mind, beyond the 7-day, things can and possibly will change. But the University of Alabama is now considered one of the nation's leader in water-related research. A new federal facility is now open on campus, focused on advancing water-related technology. Your Tuscaloosa reporter Kelvin Reynolds is on your side with details on how this is moving the university forward like never before.
The University of Alabama welcomed people to the U.S. Geological Survey's brand new hydrologic instrumentation facility on campus. Dozens gathered for a welcoming ceremony. Then they toured the brand new 92,000 square foot building. This facility plays a key role in advancing water-related technologies. It also coordinates with other federal agencies when responding to water hazards like floods and storm surge. A team of 50 federal employees will work in the building. They'll be joined by UA students and staff doing research. This partnership includes the university, the USGS, and NOAA's National Water Institute, all within walking distance and working together.
What we've effectively done by bringing this facility here and USGS partnering with us is we're marrying water modeling, forecasting, which happens at the NOAA National Water Center, with water observations, which is happening here at the USGS Hydrologic Instrumentation Facility. And then we're giving those entities access to academic research via the University of Alabama.
Retired U.S. Senator Richard Shelby says that this effort would not have been possible to bring the hydrologic instrumentation facility to UA if people at UA did not consider water as a key part of national security. Your reporter in Tuscaloosa, I'm Kelvin Reynolds, WBRC, 6 on your side.